What's going on, folks? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review Drake's major label debut, So Far Gone EP. I'm not going to review the mixtape So Far Gone yet. That's on the way. But basically, this EP was his major label debut. The album Thank Me Later was his debut album, but this was actually his first project that was basically full blown available in stores. And it comes off of a few months later after the So Far Gone mixtape, which was released for free in early 2009. Now, that mixtape is not still available for free. That was released to streaming services, and it was kind of pulled from websites like DatPiff and other mixtape websites. I think if you look absolutely hard enough, you might be able to still find it. But basically, this mixtape has a lot going for it. This EP has a lot going for it. It's a pretty heralded project. Definitely kind of helped revolutionize alternative R&B and that type stuff. Like Kanye, kind of an inspiration piece for this project, the mixtape and the EP, was Kanye West's 808s and Heartbreak. So if you like this project, I would definitely recommend checking out 808s and Heartbreak if you haven't yet, because that's kind of the source of where some of this stuff somewhat stemmed from. But basically, this alternative type R&B really came onto the scene in early 2009, late 2008 and stuff, and Drake really was one of the ones that helped spearhead this. The Weeknd helped, Trey Songz in some cases helped. This was kind of the beginning of like the Spotify and streaming service kind of movement. There's a lot of songs on the So Far Gone EP that kind of remind me of like something that would be perfect for like a playlist session, a long kind of Netflix and chill kind of Spotify session in terms of some of that on streaming services. Definitely kind of gives off that vibe. It's interesting to see that that sort of movement was happening as far back as 2008 and 2009, because I thought that that movement started in like 2012, 2013, 2014, but this was really something that revolutionized R&B in a lot of ways. Lots of folks went on to do it later, but the fact that this is 2000s is pretty stellar. So this mixtape, or this EP, is going to get a high score. Eventually I'll review the mixtape that's lengthier, but these 7 songs on here are quite outstanding, and this is like a spearhead for like a definitive kind of R&B project. I don't remember the last R&B album apart from Tinashe's Aquarius that I gave a really high score like this, but this is definitely one that deserves that plaque and such a thing. It's up there with Kanye's 808s and Heartbreak and other ones. Like, I think I like Trey Songz' Passion, Pain, and Pleasure in some of those, but those are just a few of the ones. But yeah, this is really good stuff, and Drake helped revolutionize R&B, and he did it just with his first project. And really, the single off this project, at least one of them, he had 2 singles from the So Far Gone mixtape, and both of which kind of charted in the top 20, and he hadn't even had an album out, which back in 2009, that was pretty crazy. Lil Wayne kind of did crazy things with mixtapes, but it was never like number 2 on the Billboard 100 and number 17 on the Billboard 100 like with So Far Gone. So that's kind of, this was the start of mixtapes breaking commercial airwaves and starting to kind of crest a lot more and be public kind of forums. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the singles here. So the first single was Best I Ever Had, and this one's definitely, this is the one of Drake's best singles for the longest time until he hit number 1 with songs like God's Plan and other songs like that. This was always Drake's definitive hit for the longest time. Real outstanding kind of hook. This has a monstrous hook on here, monstrous kind of song. This is a great R&B. It's an R&B classic. Definitely one that continues to have strength today, and I would like to hear consistently on the radio. It's just an overall effectual piece. Definitely, I mean, it barely feels like 2000s R&B. This definitely feels more like 2010s R&B, but it just has such a great kind of amalgamation of good stuff here. It's just interesting kind of get that. And it has solid beat. This is like a nice up-tempo kind of saucy R&B type song. This really works as far as that goes. The fact that this was free really says something. Yeah, this is a quality hit here, and it's interesting because this is like classic 2010s R&B. This is definitely something that has its girth and it deserves to still be played and that type of stuff. So the second single is Successful, and this is kind of the start of these Spotify type songs. I don't know if it's like the exact start, but this is definitely one that there just weren't a lot of R&B songs kind of doing this sort of kind of dissonant, kind of lo-fi type stuff that Successful kind of does. It's a bonus that Trey Songz and Lil Wayne are on here too. This is a real example of like a sprawling, this kind of Netflix and chill kind of night, this kind of relaxing and that type of stuff. It really has like an effectual piece. I mean, this one doesn't have the energy of Best I Ever Had, but it's definitely like a real good chill song. Definitely is like a real good chill song and that type of stuff. Just would have to say, really like the energy of it. It was original for the times. That's definitely the thing. For the most part, R&B albums up to like certain points, apart from like Usher and occasionally T-Pain, did not really get to the second single. I mean, most R&B records would just have like a club single, and then they'd try like a ballad, and then it would just flop, and then that would be the end of it. But Successful tries something new that I'm almost quite certain wasn't really around in R&B prior to about this point, somewhere between like late 2008, early 2009. Successful just gives off the real kind of chill, lo-fi kind of vibe, and it works. You know, Trey Songz delivers a great hook. Not as good as Best I Ever Had, but pretty damn close. Definitely a good 1-2 punch almost for the singles. You just have to understand that Successful is almost a 6-minute song and is just not quite as quick and as snappy as Best I Ever Had, but still good. And I'm going in as the third single. Now, this is a brilliant club song. This has a really powerful, kind of emphatic beat. This just works like it's pretty instant, just and how hooky and catchy that the beat kind of is just right off the bat. Needles did this beat. It's just a real kind of quality, kind of synthy, or this has real nice keys in the song, whatever that is in there is just a real nice effectual club cut. Drake needs to do more cuts like this. It's not every day that he does songs like this. This is another song with Lil Wayne that works real well, and they even rope in Young Jeezy to help out as well. So it's pretty good that they did that. All three of them destroy the song, and it's kind of interesting to kind of get Lil Wayne on these kind of quick paced tempo songs because to my knowledge Lil Wayne doesn't really do songs like this either. This is just a quality kind of, and it really wasn't a dirty South cut either. I mean, Lil Wayne is usually pretty drenched in like dirty South type rap music, so this was original for Lil Wayne in mid late 2009. This song is exclusive to this EP, so it's just kind of interesting to get Lil Wayne on a song like this because he hadn't really been on too many songs like this at this point either. So it's kind of good to get like a real kind of snappy, quick tempo club song that just is like a tour de force in terms of its bite and pungentness and just works real well. So all three of the singles kick ass. So to talk about the songs I recommend, I'll just go ahead and say it. I liked all 7 of the songs on here. So the 3 singles plus the 4 extra songs, which would be Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, Uptown, The Calm, and Fear. Since I liked all 7 of the songs, I'll just recommend some of these. So if you're looking for another song like Successful, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas is like that. It's not like Successful is more of a dance. Successful is more of a down tempo type, lo-fi type song, but Houston, Atlanta, Vegas is more of like a mid tempo, a mid down tempo. I guess you could say it's a mid down tempo type chill song. So Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, and Successful are pretty similar. Both just intended for like a chill night and that type of stuff, especially on streaming services. Despite the fact that the So Far Gone EP is not on Spotify. I don't know why it's not. It's kind of odd that it isn't. It's a classic project, but it's just not on there. But yeah, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, and Successful are 2 good R&B playlists, lo-fi type night type songs. Uptown is a nice city song. I really like the beat on here. It's a different kind of variant of a song just because you don't always see like these kind of, like the song says, uptown city type numbers that just kind of have like an uppity kind of energy and kind of more of like kind of paced but still kind of mellow in a sense where it's kind of an R&B song and has a great hook on there. This kind of it reminds me of something from the South, something from like Texas or New Orleans that Lil Wayne and Bun B would do. It's just interesting to kind of get Drake out of his element and have him be able to pull it off. So it's definitely a nice city type song. The Calm is the Calm is a ruminating song. I feel like Drake has a couple of ruminating songs on here. He's pretty good at that. So The Calm is really like a ruminating song for outside. It just feels like a song, like the song says, the calm before the storm, that it feels like it's getting ready to rain or something's getting ready to happen. There's some sort of thunderstorm, something like that. It just feels like a real brooding and kind of bloodletting kind of song, but Drake handles it pretty well and does that. So it's a nice one. I really like the production on here. It just kind of has like a looming energy. And then Fear has one of the best hooks on this album. Like Drake really showcases his ability to do some excellent hooks, and Fear has a brilliant one. Uptown has a brilliant one. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas has a brilliant hook. But Fear, not quite as good a production as on The Calm or I'm Going In or Uptown, but it does have a nice tempo of a song. It's just kind of a ruminating song. It's a more basic ruminating. It's kind of more get to know Drake and kind of sit back, let your hair down type stuff. Just kind of food for thought kind of song. Not a club song, not an up tempo song, not a active and kind of social song, but just kind of a more in the house, smoking a cigarette, smoking a swish or something like that, kind of ruminating type song that just kind of works for that sort of access point. But so yeah, that's basically, so I'm going to give this mixtape, or I'm going to give this EP a 10 out of 10, since I mean obviously since I liked all the songs. And then I would feel like the social score would basically get a 10 out of 10 also, just because the package behind it just has some good stuff on here. It has a club song, has a city song, has 3 kind of romantic R&B type songs and some Netflix and chill type songs, has a couple ruminating songs. So it has a pretty packaged concept of just doing stuff on here. This has a pretty effectual package of what to do. It's just, I mean, really, if anything, I think most folks would probably complain about the fact that there's just not more songs from the So Far Gone mixtape on here. I mean, it's not really that much of a deal, because I feel like at the time, back in 2009, most mixtapes were not getting commercial packaging. So this was kind of a new thing at the time as far as trying to do that, just saying that songs that were originally for free are going to be packaged into a project and sell it. So this is kind of, they just picked probably the 5, I mean, there's 2 new songs. So they just picked 5 songs that were the best and then slapped 2 new songs in here. And that was the concept. So it's just an original concept. It worked. It was a home run, and just overall a quality project. This works as far as that kind of went. And in terms of the future, like, Drake is on tour right now with 21 Savage. He just dropped an album back in November of 2022 with 21 Savage called Her Loss, and he dropped like a trilogy of projects, which started with Certified Lover Boy, and then there was another one kind of in between that came out in June. I forget. It's like honestly Nevermind or something like that. So there's been a number of these. Drake's going on tour right now. We're probably gonna get some more projects. I mean, as of this current moment, there's been some rumors circulating that Drake might retire. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We're gonna have to get some more of these, but this is basically a classic project, and I'm kind of hoping that the So Far Gone mixtape is as well, because this was just a real nice taste of like something revolutionary.